Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello students, welcome to First PUC Business Studies online classes. Students, in the previous class we have studied about life insurance policy and different types of life insurance policies, right? Let us move on to the next concept, that is today we will move on to the marine insurance policy and fire insurance policy. Let us take up first fire insurance. Fire insurance. In my previous class, I have explained regarding fire insurance and marine insurance, how it is done, what is the return, isn't it? To some extent, generally I told regarding while explaining the life insurance policy. In today's class, let me take up what is fire insurance. Very simple, friends. It is a policy which is taken on any property or asset to protect that property from any mishap that happens because of fire. So anything that happens because of fire, and if loss occurs, if the insurance company or the insurer is ready to compensate the insured, then it is called a fire insurance. It is a contract of indemnity. It is a contract of indemnity where the loss will be compensated only if the loss occurs. If there is no loss, if mishap never happens, then the fire insurance policy, you will not get any return on this policy. But in case of life insurance, if anything happens or not, the amount is guaranteed, isn't it? So it is a contract of guarantee. Life insurance is a contract of guarantee, and marine and fire insurance, they are the contract of indemnity, because the insurer undertakes to indemnify or compensate for the actual loss suffered by the insured. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಅವಘಡ ಆಗಿ ಆ ಶಿಪ್ ಮುಳುಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆದರೆ, ಅದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಷ್ಟ ಸಂಭವಿಸಿದರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಬೆಂಕಿ ತಗುಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಸ್ತಿ ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರ ನೀವು, ಫೈರ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅದು ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ನಷ್ಟ ಆದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆ ನಷ್ಟದ ಪಾಲನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಭರಿಸ್ತದೆ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ. ಆ ನಷ್ಟವನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಇಡೀ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಏನಿದೆ, ಆ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಎಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಯ ಮೌಲ್ಯ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಸರಕಿನ ಮೌಲ್ಯ ಏನಿದೆ ಶಿಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು, ಅದರ ಮೌಲ್ಯವನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡೆಮ್ನಿಟಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಶೂರ್ಡ್ ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ, ಆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೇವಲ ನಷ್ಟವನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಲಾಭವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ. So that is called contract of indemnity. So fire insurance is a contract of, that is a indemnity and not a contract of guarantee. And fire insurance is taken for a maximum of 1 year period, and it should be renewed again and again every year, otherwise the policy gets elapsed. It is given only for a period of 1 year. And in case of marine insurance, it is something different. We will take up later the marine insurance. Okay. So fire insurance. Now let us take up what are the conditions that are to be fulfilled in case of fire insurance. First one is there must be actual loss. There must be actual loss must occur. Actual loss must occur. To pay compensation under fire insurance, loss must have occurred. Then only the compensation will be paid. ಅಂದರೆ ನಷ್ಟ ಸಂಭವಿಸಿರಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಫೈರ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬೆಂಕಿ ತಾಗಿ ಅದರಿಂದ ಅವಘಡ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ ಅಸೆಟನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಫೈರ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಂಕಿ ತಾಗಿ ಅದರಿಂದ ನಷ್ಟ ಸಂಭವಿಸಿರಬೇಕು. ಹತ್ತಿರದ ಕಾರಣ, ಸಾಮೀಪ್ಯ ಕಾರಣ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಮೇಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ದ ಫೈರ್, isn't it? ಆ ಬೆಂಕಿ ತಾಗಿಯೇ ಅವಘಡ ಸಂಭವಿಸಿರಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಸಿಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓವರ್ ಹೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂಥ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಷ್ಟ ಭರಿಸುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅದು ಬೆಂಕಿ ಬರಲೇಬೇಕು, ಬೆಂಕಿ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಈಸ್. ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ occurred, and fire must be accidental. It should be accidental. It should not be intentional. So it must be accidental. It is not that the insured took out a fire insurance policy on his house and he himself sets the house on fire. ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ತಗೊಂಡ ಮನೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಸೀದಾ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬಂದ, ಚಂದ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವನೇ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಹಾಕಿಬಿಟ್ಟ, ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಸುರಿದು ಮನೆಗೆ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಹಾಕಿಬಿಟ್ಟ, ನಷ್ಟ ಆಯಿತು. ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಂಪನ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಾಂಪನ್ಸೇಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದ ಫೈರ್ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟಲ್, ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನಲ್, isn't it? So to compensate under fire insurance policy, the fire should be accidental and there must be actual loss suffered by the insured. ಅದು ಉದ್ದೇಶಪೂರ್ವಕ ಆಗಿರಬಾರ್ದು, ಅನ್ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದು ಬೆಂಕಿ ತಾಗಿದ್ದು, ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಬೆಂಕಿ ತಾಗಿದ ನಂತರ ನಷ್ಟ ಸಂಭವಿಸಿರಬೇಕು. ಕೇವಲ ಬೆಂಕಿ ತಾಗಿದೆ ಎನ್ನುವ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಕಾಂಪನ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. The insurance company will not compensate the insured just because fire broke, isn't it? No. There must be actual loss suffered by the insured, then only compensation will be paid. So these are the two conditions that must have been fulfilled to get compensation under fire insurance. Fire insurance, right? Yes. Then what are the principles of a fire insurance policy? The insured must have insurable interest in the subject matter of insurance, right? Principles of fire insurance. Insured must have insurable interest. Must have insurable interest in the subject matter of insurance. Subject matter in the sense on which the insurance policy is taken. Maybe on the house, maybe on the property or any other thing for that matter which is protected from fatal risks because of that is a fire, isn't it? ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಫೈರ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿರಬೇಕು. ಆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಇನ್ಶೂರಬಲ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್? He should take proper care and caution to protect the property. At the time of taking out an insurance policy, he must have monetary interest in the subject matter of insurance. He should have interest, that is insurable interest, monetary interest in his house. He should have, that is he should take proper care and caution to protect his house from all the dangers, like an ordinary prudence man would do under similar circumstances. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ತನ್ನ ಮನೆಯನ್ನು ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳುವಾಗ, ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳುವಾಗ ಆ ಮನೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ವ್ಯಾಮೋಹ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಆಸೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ಆ ಮನೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ. ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಸುರಿದು ಬೆಂಕಿ ಹಾಕ್ತೇನೆ. ನೋ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರಬಲ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್. And it must be there, insurable interest must be there at the time of taking the insurance policy and also at the time of loss. At the time of loss, he must take proper care and caution to protect the property from fire. He should take all the reasonable steps to reduce the loss. ಬೆಂಕಿದಾಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಉಂಟು, ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ನನಗೀಗ ಹಣ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ, ಬಗ 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 ಉರಿಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ನೋ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್. ಹಿ ಶುಡ್ ಟೇಕ್ ರೀಸನಬಲ್ ಕೇರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಾಷನ್. ಅವನ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬೊಬ್ಬೆ ಹಾಕಿ ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ಒಟ್ಟುಗೂಡಿಸಬೇಕು, ಆ ಬೆಂಕಿಯನ್ನು ನಂದಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹರಸಾಹಸ ಪಡಬೇಕು, ಫೈರ್ ಬ್ರಿಗೇಡಿಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಕರೆಸಬೇಕು. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಕೂಡ ಲಾಸ್ ಆದರೆ ಆ ಲಾಸನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಭರಿಸ್ತದೆ. Even after taking sufficient care and caution, the fire breaks and there will, if loss occurs to the insured, then only insurance company will compensate that is a loss part, not the entire property value. Whatever is saved, which is not disturbed, for that no insurance will be paid, no compensation will be paid. So this is the first, that is a general principle of fire insurance. Second one is that is Iberimi Fidei, utmost good faith must be there. Utmost good faith. That is, both the parties to the contract of insurance, that is insured and insurer, isn't it? They must disclose all the material facts to each other. The insurer must disclose how much money will be paid if the mishap occurs because of fire. Anything goes wrong, how much compensation will be paid, how it will be calculated, all these things should be made very clear to the insured by the insurer. Insurance company to the person who takes out an insurance policy, right? Yes. And the insured knows more about the property and its problems. Suppose there are some electric connections where fire may break, isn't it? Short circuit may occur. The insured knows it. He must disclose that material fact to the insurance company. Otherwise, what happens? The contract of insurance can be avoided by the insurer, or the insurance company need not pay the compensation if there is concealment of material fact by the insured. ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಂಕಿ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಭಾರಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು, ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಹಣ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಇವನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದು ತಪ್ಪಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾದರೆ ನಾಳೆ ಕಾಂಪನ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದ ಇನ್ಶೂರ್ಡ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಸಫರ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಕೇಸ್. So insurable interest is the utmost good faith is the other, that is general principle of, that is fire insurance. Then third one is there must be the contract of insurance is a contract of what? Indemnity. It is a contract of indemnity. What do you mean by indemnity? There is no guarantee regarding compensation. If fire breaks and if loss occurs to the insured, only that loss will be compensated, not the amount of policy will be paid. No, it will not be paid. Only the loss suffered by the insured will be calculated and that will be paid to the insured. So insurer will compensate only when the mishap occurs. If nothing happens, everything goes smooth, nothing will be paid to the insured. ಆ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ವಾಪಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಬೋನಸ್ ಸಮೇತ ವಾಪಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರಿಗೆ? ಅವನು ಜೀವಂತವಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ. ಅವ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ ಆದರೆ ಆ ಪಾಲಿಸಿಯ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಏನಿದೆ ಸಮ್ ಎಶ್ಯೂರ್ಡ್ ಅದನ್ನು ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರಿಗೆ? ವಾರಿಸುದಾರರಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಆದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡೆಮ್ನಿಟಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್. ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡೆಮ್ನಿಟಿ ವಿಲ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ. ನೋ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ. isn't it? No assurance. If anything happens, insured will get the compensation. If nothing happens, nothing will be paid. So that is the third principle of insurance that is applicable to fire insurance. Then fourth one is proximate cause. Proximate cause. What do you mean by proximate cause? The nearest cause of the mishap must be fire. The fire must be accidental. And actual loss should have been suffered by the insured. Isn't it? So, proximate cause means the nearest cause of the mishap. That will be taken into consideration, whether the fire breaks out accidentally or whether it is intentional. That will be assessed. If the insurer comes to know that the fire broke because of the negligence of the insured or it was intentional, in that case the insurer can avoid the contract. The insurer can avoid the contract and need not pay the compensation to the insured. So that is what the proximate cause principle is. This is about the general principles of fire insurance. Types of fire insurance policies is not explained, not given in your syllabus. So I don't want to venture on that part, unnecessarily venturing and confusing the students. It's better not to venture on that, isn't it? But there are different types of fire insurance policies, but as it is not given, let us keep quiet regarding that. So you just make a note of the meaning, then conditions that are to be fulfilled to pay the compensation under fire insurance policy, and the general principles of fire insurance. That much is enough about that is fire insurance. Okay. Yes. Now let us move on to the next part, that is marine insurance. What is marine insurance? Very simple, friends. The insurance taken to protect the goods or ship or any other property from marine risks is called marine insurance. What do you mean by marine? Related to the ocean or sea, isn't it? The risks associated with the transportation through, that is a sea or ocean, is nothing but marine insurance. Next, insurance. So marine means related to ocean or sea or water, isn't it? When the transportation mode, water transport is taken to send the goods from our country to another country, or to import goods from other country to our country, then it should be protected from insurance, because there may be danger of the sea. There may be many dangers of the sea, isn't it? So to protect the property or ship or freight or whatever it is from all the dangers related to the ocean or that is a voyage, that is called marine insurance. So ಸಮುದ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಿಸಿದ ಅಥವಾ ನೀರಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಅಥವಾ ಜಲ ಸಾರಿಗೆಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಬರುವಂತಹ ಅನಾಹುತಗಳನ್ನು ತಪ್ಪಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಅಥವಾ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ವಿಮೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಜಲ ವಿಮೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮ್ಯಾರೈನ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾರೈನ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಎಸ್. ಸೊ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ also a contract of indemnity. Marine insurance is also a policy of contract of indemnity, because the loss will be compensated only when the loss actually occurs, and compensation will be paid only for the actual loss suffered by the insured, and the mishap must have occurred and there must have been loss. If there is no loss, mishap occurs, but no loss, no compensation. Mishap occurs and a part of the goods are damaged, then that much part which is lost will be compensated. No extra amount will be paid. The intention is to avoid the insured to earn profits. So for that reason it will be done, right? Done like that. That principle is introduced, that is contract of indemnity is there and not the contract of guarantee as we have seen under life insurance. Now let us move on to what are the types of that is marine risks, isn't it? What are the types of marine risks or marine insurance policies? What are the types of marine insurance? First one, that is a ship insurance, isn't it? Ship or hull insurance. Ship or hull insurance. What do you mean by hull? Hull means ship, friends. Hull means ship. HULL. Correct? So, if the insurance is taken to protect the ship only or the entire ship with goods, ship with goods, isn't it? Loaded ship, if it sinks entirely with goods, then it is called hull insurance. Hull insurance or ship insurance. So here the ship is the subject matter of insurance. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಡಗು ಮುಳುಗಿದ್ರೆ ಕಾಂಪನ್ಸೇಷನ್. ಇದು ಹಡಗಿನ ವಿಮೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಹಡಗಿಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆದರೆ ಪೂರ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಹಡಗು ಮುಳುಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಟೈಟಾನಿಕ್, ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಹರ್ಡ್, isn't it? Never ending story, right? Yes. So ಶಿಪ್ ಮುಳುಗಿ ಹಾಳಾದರೆ ಆಗ ಶಿಪ್ ಹಾಳಾದದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಂಪನ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. So that is called ship or hull insurance. If while writing the answer, if the subject matter of insurance is hull or ship, it is called hull insurance. It is called hull insurance or ship insurance, where the ship or hull is protected against the fatal risks or dangers of the sea or the ocean. Correct? Yes. Second one is cargo insurance. Cargo insurance. Cargo means what? Goods. If the compensation will be paid if the goods gets damaged during voyage or transportation through ocean, and if the policy is taken to protect the goods only, then the goods lost by the shipping company will be compensated by the insurance company. The insurance company, the insurer will compensate the insured only for the cost of goods that is got damaged during transit, right? So that is second type of marine insurance. Third one is freight insurance. Freight insurance. Freight insurance. What do you mean by freight insurance? That is, if the insured fails to pay the freight because the goods have been damaged, the shipping company has damaged the goods which is beyond the control of the shipping company. Even after that, the goods got damaged, and because of that, the insured is not ready to pay the freight, then insurance will be paid by the insurance company will compensate the insurer for the freight that is not received by the shipping company. The shipping company will be compensated by the insurance company or the insurer for the freight not received by that is a shipping company, by the shipping company. So this is called freight insurance. Here ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಬಾಡಿಗೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಪ್ಪುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಇನ್ಶೂರ್ಡ್ ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ಆ ಸರಕಿನ ಮಾಲೀಕನೋ ಅವನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಕೊಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಗೂಡ್ಸನ್ನು ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡಿ ತಂದಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರುವಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಅದರ ಬೆಲೆ ಈಗ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ನಾವು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ರೇಟಿಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅವ್ರೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಾಡಿಗೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಗ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? ಶಿಪ್ಪಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಯಾರು ಆ ಶಿಪ್ಪನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಆ ಶಿಪ್ಪಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ, ಫ್ರೈಟ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಆ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಆ ಬಾಡಿಗೆಯನ್ನು ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ. ಪೂರ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಮಾಣವನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು, ಮೇ ಬಿ 85% or 90% freight will be paid by the insurance company. So this is about freight insurance. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ syllabus, so not to mention. Liability insurance means the liability that arises because of this damage, isn't it? Because of sea dangers, ocean dangers, that will be compensated by the insurance company, but it is not given here, so don't venture on that. Just write these 3 points only. Freight insurance, right? That is ship insurance, ship or hull insurance, cargo insurance related to goods, ship or hull insurance related to ship, and freight insurance, that is subject matter of insurance is freight. Here subject matter of insurance is ship or hull, here cargo, and here freight. So these are the different types of marine insurance policies. Now let us move on to the general principles of marine insurance. That is first one is it is a contract of indemnity. Marine insurance is a contract of indemnity. General principles of, that is principles of marine insurance. Marine insurance. First one is it is a contract of indemnity. That is, the loss will be paid, compensated only if the actual loss is suffered by the insured. Otherwise no compensation will be paid. ಶಿಪ್ಪಿನ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಶಿಪ್ ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಡೆಸ್ಟಿನೇಷನಿಂದ ಎಂಡ್ ಡೆಸ್ಟಿನೇಷನ್ವರೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ರೀಚ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಪನ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡುವ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯೇ ಬರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. Because it is not a contract of guarantee like life insurance, it is a contract of indemnity where the insurer will compensate only if the mishap occurs, and that too after the mishap occurs the loss should have been suffered by the insured. If insured has not suffered any loss, then no compensation will be paid. This is called contract of indemnity. Contract of indemnity. Then second one is marine insurance is a contract of utmost good faith. It must be there in all the insurance policies, right? You have seen in all the 3 insurance types there must be utmost good faith or iberimi fidei, isn't it? That is, both the parties to the contract of insurance, that is insured and the insurer, must disclose all the material facts to each other. There should not be any concealment or facts are hidden, isn't it? It should not be there. Both the parties to the contract must disclose in good faith all the material facts related to the contract of insurance. And the more facts will be there with the insured rather than the insurer, because the insured is the owner of the property and he knows everything about his property. He knows everything about his life. He knows everything about the property that is protected under fire or marine insurance, right? So everything should be disclosed in good faith. And if there is concealment of fact, material fact, then the other party to the contract can avoid the contract, isn't it? So that is utmost good faith, second principle of that is marine insurance. And there must be insurable interest. Insurable interest must be there at the time of loss. Insurable interest must be there at the time of loss. That is, If it is not there, the person will suffer, the insured will suffer. He should have that much, that is principle in his mind, that if the goods are not there, he will suffer, monetary interest will be suffered, isn't it? If goods sinks in the ocean, then goods are lost, he will have to suffer monetary loss. So insurable interest means the monetary interest in the subject matter of insurance. So it must be there at the time of loss rather than at the time of entering into a contract of, that is marine insurance. Then last one is causa proxima will apply. Causa proxima or proximate cause. Proximate cause or causa proxima. That is, the nearest cause of the mishap will be taken into consideration for compensating the insured by the insurer. The insurer will consider only the proximate or nearest cause of the mishap. He will not take the remote cause and consequences, as I already gave the example in my previous class. That is, if ship sinks or anything happens to the goods are totally destroyed, worth rupees maybe 1 crore, isn't it? And if the insured sells these goods in the domestic market after importing, it has not reached, it got damaged and it sinks in the ocean, the entire goods got destroyed, isn't it? There is an insurance policy covering 1 crore. Protection was taken for 1 crore. But after selling these goods, if these goods reaches the destination, then the insured could have earned 1.5 crore, 50% profit. And if the insured claims that I must get 1.5 crore, insurance company will say no, because proximate cause is the goods got destroyed and cost of the goods was, at the time of destruction, the cost of the goods were 1 crore. Isn't it? 1 crore worth. So the insured will be compensated with 1 crore only by applying the causa proxima principle. That is, the nearest cause of the mishap is only the insured suffered for 1 crore and not more than that. So the remote cause and consequence, that's 50 lakh would have been earned later, isn't it? That is remote cause and it is not the direct cause of the mishap. So this is called proximate cause. This is another principle of, that is insurance. I will take up the distinction between marine, fire and life insurance in the next class. Take down question. Mention the general principles of, not general principles, right, mention the principles of fire insurance. No need to explain, simply write the points, that's all, side headings. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Thank you.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.